Hello everybody and welcome to the Challenger League feature race. We had an exciting sprint, which you may have just watched, hopefully, in which Raikar Auto absolutely dominated, Kubo taking pole position.
Hold on, I gotta... Whoa, I'm out of the lobby. Fuck, get me back in here.
Okay, do we
Shit.
or join after quali?
Do we re? We definitely re.
How did that...
No one's gotten a lap in.
Jesus Christ.
Race host's official decision, if he feels like that.
Oh.
We might have a game on Goose starting from the back of the grid. We'll see the drivers as they cross the line to finish their first lap of qualifying. I stole these words, currently sitting on provisional pole position, a 29.05. Nobody's dipped into the sub-29s. We're expecting pole to definitely be in there in Ultimate League. Nearly said its old name there.
Bit of a bad lap from Kubo and Sawasud in particular.
Yes, Kubo 15th. I think that was almost definitely... I'm not sure how you get slipstreaming qualifying, guys. I'm a bit baffled on that one. Kubo definitely not a representative lap time there, but I'm sure we'll see him fly to the top here. Yeah, 6th place for him.
Oh,
okay.
bit better.
Nobody's pipped Isto to the pole so far. Do you reckon they'll do it?
Yeah. Ooh, it would be tight. I think Razim might have a sub 29 in him.
Razim driving for
Kubo as well,
It
if he can get a
has
lap
had
together.
some great qualies in the past already.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Razim and Andrews driving for the defending Constructors Champions in Ultimate League. They're 15th, and wherever Razim is currently. Razim goes on to pole. Kubo beats him. 28.90 for the pole on pole. Brilliant stuff, that.
There you go.
We did see it. Nice one, mate.
Chevrolet in 5th place as well.
That's pretty solid.
Ada gets onto the 4th row.
So Kubo, our only man in the sub-29s, he takes a 28.90. A lap that he would probably be pleased with in Ultimate League quali, but might like to go faster than that. Nobody else in the sub-29s. Razim and Isto for Nordic Blizzard, 2nd and 3rd. It was Callow behind them for PRO, then Chevrolet and Kraft taking a 3rd row there. Callow ahead of Urist, Gwetzley and Andries for the new Ford Kit Kat Racing team, qualifying in the top 10, as was his teammate Tomatoes right behind him, then Kyato in 12th. Suicide and Matimar, Crunk and Juan, and Wojtek at the back. Scuderia Kamana, not good quality. You right?
The crowd is just murmuring.
Yeah, they couldn't believe what
There's a lot
they
of
saw.
Portuguese fans here today.
Very interesting.
They can't believe it. Suicide down in 13th. They're expecting him on the podium today, and he'll have to recover through the field to get it.
Andrew's also starting in P10 as well. There might be a bit of trouble starting at the very middle of the pack.
Yeah. I mean,
Wesley.
if Andrews' team doesn't do well after this season, they might need to take a break.
Perhaps one would be in order.
Interesting. Yeah, wafer thin margins between the teammates there. No, okay, right. Enough of the terrible puns. Time to crack on with the Challenger League feature race to start off Season 9. Eurist.
Can you edit the grid?
Whenever you're ready, Eurist, or whoever else is here.
Can you edit Crunk to the back of the grid, please?
What happened? Oh, right.
For his penalty.
Oh, true, you're right.
Crunky's serving a grid drop for... Goose, what was that for?
Oh, can you take a wild guess?
Was it chatting in lobby?
Oh, it certainly was.
Oh, brilliant. Sad that...
Oh, maybe it was good enough to like put some laps in. Maybe get his maybe gets a bit more experience in on those tires, on the rubber.
If I had a penny for every time that Crunk was DQQ in the last 2 days in a league race, I'd have 2 pennies, which is not a lot, but weird that it's happened twice. Originally in Power League for driving backwards through the pit lane, which is not a criminal offence here in Challenger League. You can do that if you'd like to. Not sure if it's faster, but go for it if you'd like that approach. Right, are we ready?
Now that wait,
here we go.
if we have ghosted pits.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Ghosted Pits coming next week, by the way. But for this week, it's the Challenger League feature race. We're underway here in Malaysia. Crunk gets a slow start. Kubo starts off the front.
Oh my god. I'm on spec mode.
Uh-oh. Razim and Caddo, 2nd and 3rd for them at the moment. Chevrolet in 4th, and we're getting a bit of lag here.
Big shot big shot of lag.
Big lag. You can restart that host discretion if you feel that that affected the race too badly in the rulebook, but he's decided probably not to for the moment. Looks like Kubo ahead of Kado is the 1 and 2 at the moment. Chevrolet, then Kraft, then Rozim all the way down to 6th position now from the front row of the grid. Kado took a big bit of grass going through turn 1. Chevrolet and Rozim, Kraft, Uris, and Kada and Gwetzli all behind him fighting over this 2nd position. We've got a huge train as we sweep through the S's into the 2nd and 3rd sectors of the track. Chevrolet a little bit behind this 2nd and 3rd place pack. He's looking to get a podium here in Challenge League if he can. There's going to be a massive pack, nearly 4 wide as they head into the final corner. Uris cuts Kada nearly in the wall. Doesn't quite get in the wall in the end there.
Oh, very tight. And a very bad start from the Nordic Blizzards in particular. Razim is now fighting in that mid pack for P2, but Isto is all the way back in P12, just out of the points completely.
Not good at
all.
all.
A horrid start.
He qualified, he's lost 9 positions in 2 and a bit laps. That is really not the start you would have wanted, but it is absolutely the start for the pole on pole. He is breaking clear on those medium compound tyres. Then we've got Kado and Kada, 2 names that I need to not mix up too badly. Chevrolet, then Gwetzli and Uris. Oh, Suicide, Razim and Kraft are big off into that first corner, just cutting the grass on the inside. Then it's Juan behind them, or Jean as I call him. Isto and Andres behind him as well, and it's Matimar and Kyato Tomatoes and Wojtek, and it's Krunk with Goose not taking the start due to issues on the formation lap. The front 3 as they were. Big fight here. Chevrolet covers off the inside, the Spaniard trying to defend from the Portuguese and Swiss men behind him. Swiss rather. They go side by side into the first corner. Can Gwetzli duck up the inside here? He might try to do that. Uris is onto the grass at 2, and Gwetzli trying to go around the outside of Chevy and just not managing it there. The hards versus the softs on lap 5. You'd say that Chevrolet definitely should still have the compound advantage, Gilvid.
Should be, for sure. Big start from Kata as well. He was on the 4th row of the grid, and he's been working pretty well with those soft tyres. He might be able to undercut a lot of drivers behind him as well. Chevrolet getting an awkward exit there as a big pack follows him into turn 1.
Yes, and a terrible exit from turn 1 and 2 as well. Gwetzli sweeps clean through there. Then it's Uris and Kraft behind. This is just going to be a pack. No doubt we're going to see an overtake made because there are a lot of different tyres here. 3 hards and a medium and a soft. But they're all just sort of slithering their way. The concertina effect at its finest. Chevrolet just swipes Uris off there. That's probably a slam dunk penalty. Following the race, Uris tries to dive bomb Razim and takes him into the pit wall. I think Uris was trying to... No, he wasn't trying to go into the pits because he's on the hards. We get a lag storm now. Right, we're going to have to hope that that clears
lag
itself
storm. Eesh. Oh, this is pretty extreme.
Yeah.
This looks very extreme.
Are we back?
It looks like we're back.
Oh,
Okay.
we're back?
Thankfully.
We're back. So Chevrolet and Andres have made pit stops on lap 6. Chevrolet coming up P11 on the mediums.
It was
so
Isto.
maybe... Oh, Isto with the DNF. That's very unfortunate. A poor race has been solidified by that DNF.
Absolutely. Kubo, meanwhile, gets a gap out in front. It must be a bit... I mean, Corvid, you've definitely pitted in lag storms before. What's that like as a driver, seeing cars fly sideways through the pit wall?
It's always a tense feeling because you like with the slower speeds on the pit lane, you always worry that you might get blocked off of your
with
pit.
the look on Catter outside,
And it
he's
could
got him to the
potentially,
hairpin.
Cost you big.
Oh.
On the inside.
Not a good couple
Interesting to
of
go
laps.
for that move while also going into the pits at the same time.
And Uris back
Yeah,
through on the
definitely
man that he
crossed
took into the
quickly.
pit wall just a couple laps ago. It's not been a good few laps for Razim. He's sort of 1 for 3 at that final corner over the last sequence of racing. Still looking for the battles here. It's Uris still following Razim. Then we've got Kraft and we've got Gwetzli and Suicide fighting over 6th and 7th position. These are all hard tire runners, and we've got Kado and Kraft in on the mediums at the moment.
Race leaders heading into the pits. Kubo out on the hard tires.
Out.
Kado in for the mediums.
Out in first as well. That is the crucial part for Kubo, who looks to have this race in the palm of his hand. That is a really, really big moment for him, actually. Because he built up such a gap in that first stint, just as he did in the sprint, of course, because you only get one stint in those, although rumours from the FIA considering extending the sprint to allow a potential tyre stop. Rosim in second place and Eurist in third still haven't pitted, nor has Gwetzli, Chevy, and Caddo both have. Suicide hasn't, and nor further down the order.
Regime's made another mistake, allowing Eurist up into second on that first turn. It's been costly.
Oh.
Oh dear. Oh dear. The man
But I
who...
feel like this is all going in the Chevrolet's hand. He's on the fresher tires. He's made that pit
Look
stop,
at that move on
and
Gwetz.
he's making that undercut really work out for him here.
And again, I think he's forced Rosim wide there. It's aggressive driving from the Chevrolet. He just punts. Yeah. That's a series of aggressive moves from Chevy that we've, unfortunately for him, caught on camera.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be not too different from the norm as of right now. He's trying to keep Caddo behind as they fight for P2 now.
Caddo right behind him. Eurist still not into the lane, nor is Suicide. And of course the DNF driver of Isto, the only drivers to have not made a pit stop so far in the feature. Suicide moves to one side, lets Caddo and Kraft right through. Chevrolet and Caddo
Might be
fighting.
trouble for Suicide actually, because he's currently the lowest ranked driver who hasn't stopped, so he might get undercut by a lot of the drivers who are looking to edge into the points.
But he did get a gap behind him. That's the crucial part. So he's only out in ninth position.
There is a fairly big gap between Suicide and Kiato, who is only in 11th now. He's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to get back into the points.
A man with great success in Journeyman League, not being able to transfer it to Challenger League to the highest degree just yet, but he's definitely rising up the ranks, and it's Juan up the inside. Lovely little move there on the soft compound tyre, actually. He's going to have to try and stick it around the outside here, and he does.
Around the outside, he does it. Wow, nice.
Jesus. Right,
Oh,
back to fight over
Gwetzli.
P2. What's Gwetzli been doing? Oh, he's down in 7th position.
An
Rosine.
exchange of
Seventh.
errors. Rosime into the sand, Gwetzli past Rosime. Gwetzli into the sand, Rosime past Gwetzli. Rosime into the grass, Gwetzli past Rosime.
Blimey. That's quite something.
I think the biggest thing between those two as well is that they're really giving the medium tire runners in front of them a bit of a gap as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll do a quick tyre rundown just for the moment. Kubo out in the lead. It doesn't really matter what tyres he's on because he's got a pit stop behind him, but he is on hards that are starting to wear. Caddo on slightly more worn mediums. Chevrolet on even more worn mediums, significantly more so than Caddo's, and that's why he's in this lap. Then Kraft behind on mediums that will do a few more laps. Caddo on, those mediums. Chevrolet was in. Gwetzli on hards that definitely have a bit of life left of them, as is Rosime, and Eurist even better yet. So Suicide and Andrews clearly had a coming together there. The Pro and Ford Kit Kat drivers dueling currently over 9th position. Andrews on softs. They're in pretty decent nick. Suicide behind on slightly fresher hard compound tyres. He no doubt stopped a little bit earlier. Kiato, then Juan, Matti, and Tomatoes, Krunk, and Wojtek, and then Isto. DNF. That's going to be a concern for the British Aerial Racing team, who didn't change their driver lineup for this season. They're gonna need to take some good points with their new engine, perhaps.
It's in between Eurist and Rosime again. Rosime taking the worst of it. He's had a very, very rough day.
Poor man, the man who seemingly doesn't know quite who Danimator is. He might need to be reminded by watching a few of his performances, because it's not been a good one for him so far today. Eurist right ahead of him. Well, not right, it's about a second between them. Then Kraft just out the pit lane. Will he get out ahead of Eurist? He's going to try and block him off into turn 1. Eurist might duck underneath. He's going to try it. Can't manage it. Kraft takes a bit of grass. Eurist might get the outside coming into 4. This would be a really risky move. Just about sticks it in. Doesn't take the gravel. Jesus Christ.
Both drivers staying on track as well.
Brilliant
not
fighting.
losing out too much time.
They're respectful drivers. They're teammates in Ultimate Leagues. They need to not fight too much here for risk of argument. Oh, I think there was a little bit of lag there. Kada, I definitely slowed down on the back straight, and he's into the lane now, and he's going to be passed by Gwetzli for 4th position. Ahead is Caddo and Chevrolet.
And Caddo only just making that pit now, behind Chevrolet, who undercut him. Big gap to Kubo though, like almost unattainable at this point.
I think
Smooth
Kubo...
sailing the Riker Automan as he goes in for the softs.
Yeah, I think Kubo could probably do a donut in the pit lane if he wanted to and still come out ahead. He's really built a good gap here. Chevrolet and Caddo. Oh, I think it's Chevy just letting him through for the time being. Their goal is no doubt, with Caddo on fresher tyres as well, Chevy's goal is going to be to slip him. And I have no doubt in my mind that this is to secure them both second and third position, whatever order it might be in. That Kubo's lead looks unattainable, and he's taking the softs, which would indicate that he's just going to get faster from here. He was commenting mid-week that he strongly disliked the track. He seems to be doing not too badly for himself in Challenger League, but obviously, Ultimate League, he's a title contender, and big rumours pretty much confirmed by Nomsky himself that the retired driver will be back for another hurrah around the Sepang International Circuit today, so that will hopefully kick off their title campaign in a good way. What's up, Kilvid?
So another note is that
P4,
Kubo's
5,
gone onto this. Yeah.
P456 has been a ding-dong battle for the last 3 laps. Kraft, Eurist, and Gwetzli.
Eurist defending hard to the inside. We've seen that. I've seen that before in Malaysia. And Gwetzli
Didn't make it look too messy that time though.
Yeah, that was cleaner, definitely. Razim still just behind them, and he's on almost identical tyres. Eurist a little fresher than the both of them, but he should be catching up to them. Eurist makes a mistake there, and this might allow Razim back into the game. He's about a second back on the pair, 0.99 as we got the last reading on the timing screens. Gwetzli might try and get a good run at the final corner. Eurist blocks to the inside. Gwetzli might go to the outside at the hairpin. He's nearly in the gravel, but he goes into the pit lane anyways, with Razim in behind him as well.
Interesting. And that fighting really gave Kraft a bit of a gap as well. Oh no.
Bye, Kraft.
Another bit of a lag storm. Oh, and we're back.
We're back
Gwetz has
again.
made a big mistake just coming out of the lane and straight into the turn 1 grass.
No doubt that he was hit by a flying car there, I'm sure. And that was Kiato that time. So
Kiato out after a... Yeah, just not the opening weekend he was hoping for, unfortunately.
You do feel bad for him. It was not going his way in the race, and I think that disconnect for the man from Catalonia is really the nail in the coffin here today. Kubo, meanwhile, is leading by 10 seconds. Verstappen-esque at the minute.
And he has taken the fastest lap. That's what I was thinking he was doing with that softs pick. 29.08 is going to be very difficult to beat unless someone else tries to snatch it from him.
With a bit of slipstream potentially, but that is a qualifying lap time. You'd reckon that'll be mid-pack in a Ultimate League later on today for sure. So to put that
perhaps.
in, not too bad. Right, what do you think the podium's going to be come the end of the day? Because we've got differing strategies. We've got Eurus, who's stopped once, a couple positions behind. We've got Chevrolet stopping 3 times, and Mart in 10th stopping 4.
And Chevrolet only just pit for those mediums, and he's hoping those mediums can take him to the end of the race, and also potentially undercut Kato once again. As we see, Kraft ends up in the pit lane this time around. I'm expecting Eurus to try and make his last stop into softs as well. Maybe stretch those hards, maybe 1 or 2 more laps.
Could do.
Could be a really tight finish overall for P2, potentially P4 as well with Kraft. And this could be big now that Kata's making those mistakes. Chevrolet passed, and Kraft get past too as Kata's tyres are really worn now.
I don't doubt it. I think he'll probably be in regardless. Yeah, just slides in. That's not the nicest pit entry for him either. Eurus and Kado into the pit lane.
We'll see what Kato can do on the soft tyres though against both Kraft and Chevy as they fight for P2.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chevy just ahead of them at the moment. Kado behind. And we'll do the quick tyre rundown. Kubo recently came in. Chevrolet for the mediums. Kraft for the mediums. Kado for the softs. So differing strategies here today. Gwetzli's going to try and take the hards to the end. Stopped a couple of laps ago. Crunk just pinging around in the background there. Rozim on the same strategy. And Eurus behind on the softs. Kado will be disappointed with how his race has sort of crumbled here, because he was running definitely up in the pack earlier on, the front pack, and now it's gone down for him. He was a pit stop behind those who he was fighting for position earlier, and that is not quite what he'd want. So we've got a prediction for a Kubo podium today in UL from Grandy, the 2-time Challenger League world champion. Could be a pretty hot advice from the man who's taken a podium 3 times. Meanwhile, 2 men who have got the same letters starting their name. That was a good commentary line. Kraft and Chevrolet. Fighting over 2nd and 3rd. Not fighting quite yet, but Chevy looks to have made a huge mistake through the S's. Kraft might try the outside. Error. He tries the outside at the Marion corner, and he does get through. And that's a really, really, really nice overtake. That's very nicely set up from the Finn.
Wow.
Not too bad at all. Chevrolet...
We'll see how much Chevrolet fights this, because any sort of fighting will bring Kato into the battle. 2 big punt there.
pings him off the circuit. Caddo and Gwetzli into this fight, and it's going to be a 4, well, probably not 5, definitely 4-car fight for second place if Caddo can keep it together, but he doesn't. He takes the grass there. Gwetzli right behind him, the RMC driver and the Porsche Racing Organisation driver. Right up to the back of Kraft now. Chevrolet might have just been gifted the podium. These drivers coming around to embark on the back straight. Meanwhile, the leader Kubo is already in the middle sector of the third to last tour of the circuit. Chevrolet has been pinging. Oh, it's nearly a big moment there in the final corner. 3 wide into turn 1. Gwetzli backs out. He's going to try and duck underneath. Caddo takes a bit of grass, but he'll be able to defend. It's soft, medium, hard in that order. The Frenchman leads the Finn, leads the Swissman, and they're all going to try and just jostle for position. Caddo makes a mistake. Kraft goes through. Gwetzli might try it as well. Caddo back through on Kraft, potentially coming into the penultimate corner of the circuit. Gwetzli might try it up the inside of the Finn, and he does. Gwetzli into 4th position. 3 wide, nearly into the final corner. Kraft defends hard. Gwetzli ducks underneath him.
Tight.
Caddo through, still ahead of them. And Kubo all the while really enjoying this. Chevrolet massively benefiting from the fact that they're not fighting him. Kubo coming to start the final lap of the Challenger League feature race. Chevrolet looking good for a second position here. It's Caddo right behind. It's Kraft and Gwetzli still separated by very little. Rozim, then Urist and Caddo chasing him down. Andres and Suicide, but all eyes go to the fight for the podium. Kraft and Gwetzli for 4th, side by side into the last corner. This can't end well. Gwetzli has to back out. One final lap as Kubo makes his way towards the very end of it. Chevrolet in second place still. Kubo up to the final corner. Will follow on board with him just for now, because Kubo in dominant fashion by 16 seconds will win the feature race here in Malaysia. Chevrolet still in second place. Suicide is going to leave before the end of the race. I think he had to go, and that's not going to do any favours to his finishing position, but a man who'll be very happy with his finishing position if he can hold it for one more corner is Chevrolet, but Caddo right next to him. We can't tell what order those guys are going to be come the results screen, because I'm sure Caddo saw something very different on his. Gwetzli behind them, Urus, I think, then Kraft, and then it's coming around the final corner. Well, I think he hit the pit wall. Not sure if he did. It's Andres, then Tomatoes in 10th place. Ooh. And I'm just going to pop off now, but Corvid will read out the results screen for you in a minute.
Oh, wow. So Caddo actually ended up getting that P2 at the end, just pipping Chevrolet at the death. Crazy ending there. Gwetzli held on to P4, Razim P5. Urist wasn't able to catch Razim on those softs, finishing in P6. Then we have Kraft, Caddo, Andreas, and apparently Matimar is finished in P10, but I'm not sure how reliable that is. And yeah, Suicide was, I believe, lining up for P10, but he did end up leaving at the very end. Wow, what a race. Oop. Oh my god. Everyone's muted. Alright, so Kubo, first place, Grand Slam with both poles, both race wins, both fastest laps. Absolute domination of the Sepang circuit here. Caddo and Chevrolet will fill in the podium for Push Racing and Velocity, respectively. Gwetzli getting P4 on the Riker Auto, so decent points for him as well. Razim, the only Nordic Blizzard to finish in P5. Then it'll be have Urist, Kraft, Caddo, Mart Andreas, and Matimar filling out the points paying positions. Been a very dramatic day for CL, and we've had quite tough racing all around. But yeah, main story has been the absolute dominant performance of Kubo. Absolutely prominent in the sprint, prominent in the feature, just looked on a class of his own. Got Juan finishing in P11, Tomatoes in P12, Krunk in P13, then we got Warwick in P14, and then we have Suicide, Kyato, and Isto as our DNF drivers for today.
That is all for the Challenger League event for Malaysia, kicking off Season 9 with a bang, and a bang that has very much propelled Kubo very far clear of the competition. But we'll see how it goes. Next week we're in Alton Park, I believe. Yeah. And it should be a banger then. Right, we're very happy with that one, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.